Welcome to the From the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He's a Twitter-like whore, an Instagram thirst trap, and your grandma's guilty pleasure, Beef Loaf. A West Coast attitude in a decidedly Midwest body, My Sock Summer. And your host, he's sharing obscure music thoughts to give you time to hit the bathroom, Cherizy E.
Thank you, Cornsey, and welcome to the From the 108 podcast. Get ready for some baseball, beer, and bullshit. And remember the drinking rules. If Beefloaf says allegedly, or that he made a video about that, you drink. If My Sock Summer mentions his time on the West Coast or blames his kids for something, you drink. And if I fuck up the intro or make MSS appear to be dumb, you drink. And of course, you can make all of us drink for a tip of $1.08 or more. Beefloaf, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What are you drinking?
Oh, baby. Precious tonight. I'm drinking some Blanco tequila. My guy, Little Yumper, got me a bottle, and we're almost done with this bottle right here. We just got a little bit left. We'll probably finish it up tonight.
Nice.
And let me tell you, boys, it's going down good. I wasn't planning on drinking a lot tonight, but the 108ing is getting a hold of me, so let's go.
It's going to be a night. Yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that already.
Nothing is working for my side, so it's going to be
like beautiful.
The intro didn't even play for me.
Oh, I've had that happen before. I've had that happen before.
It just froze, and then we were live.
Then you're like,
oh.
I was like,
it played for me.
Yeah, yes.
So, hey,
it sounded just as good as it always does. You know?
I got your back, dude. I got your back. If things go awry, I'll probably do things wrong, and you'll hate it, but I have your back. So don't worry about it. I will take over. I'll slide right in there, and we'll only make fun of you for the first 5 minutes. So
I'm never worried when I got you, MSS, because I know you. I've seen you do 5 minutes over and over and over. You can handle it for me. I'm not worried about it.
It's true. I can do that.
But I would like to know what you're drinking.
Oh, I am drinking a nice old-fashioned that I made upstairs at my kitchen counter. I used my nice little mixing set that I have that I got for, I think, my birthday or Father's Day. I'm not sure. And I'm using the Rebel 100 bourbon that I have because it's like I'm not using top shelf stuff. I don't own top shelf, depending on who you talk to. And this is I'm going to use the 100 proof stuff, and I'm going to get loaded tonight. I made myself 4. So we'll see what happens.
Hell yes. Hell yes. Switch the second ad read to live. Let's go. Let's go.
Nope.
There's a third ad read tonight I didn't tell you about.
Get Dutch Movers back in here.
I have recorded the ad read, so we're not even worried about that. There will be no Shanta shrimp, so y'all can suck ball.
Boo.
I know. Everyone's like, oh, God, you can't even read. And then, like, when I do it right, then no one says, hey, good job doing it right, stupid. I know. Chorizo. What are you drinking, my friend?
So I'm probably way behind everybody on this, but I hadn't seen this beer. So this Rev makes this, and I just saw the can and I'm like, I gotta buy this.
Oh,
it
just came out.
Cold time.
Nice.
Just came
and
out.
it's just a lager, and I'm like, this feels right up my alley. This feels like Rev is making high life, and I'm in on it.
Yeah.
I saw the thing, and it was like such a generic looking box and everything, and I was like, this has Cherizy written all over it, baby. This is for me.
Yeah, that looks good. What's it taste like?
It's good, man. It's
a lager.
It tastes like a lager, and that's all I want.
That's all
I want in this life.
Is it okay for beer to just taste like beer sometimes? That's all you need sometimes. Just a beer, a regular ass beer.
This is where we're headed, and this is why Baderbrow fucked up because they had a $40,000 a month rental. You know, like they should have
giving away financials of dead companies.
It wasn't that much, but it was pretty high. But it's like they had the right idea because there was gonna be a fight back. Like, and we were talking about this recently. We're like, every beer on this menu is an IPA. There's like people that don't like IPAs. I understand they sell and people love them in spaces, but every once in a while, a real beer guy, a guy that's going to continually come to your place, is going to want to drink a different style than an IPA, or a double IPA, or a triple IPA, or a quad IPA. So
before I get to asking you guys how you're feeling tonight, I do want to wish happy birthday to Cornsey.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Cheers.
Salud.
Yeah, cheers. I also want to tell you, MSS, I was at Monk's the other day,
so
downtown.
Good. Yeah.
I love that place. And
It is. It's cool.
they have, they have all the beer taps all over the place. They have a lawnmower lager.
Oh,
beer
no.
tap. It was like right above where I was sitting. And I was like, should I climb up here and steal this motherfucker?
I'm surprised you didn't scheme a way to get it. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's not behind you right now.
I was there at lunch. If this was post work drinks, might have happened.
Man has a code at lunch.
No, I'm just not that drunk at that point. Let's get to a couple drinks.
Let's do
Holy
it.
shit. Thanks, Jer.
Jerry says,
Appreciate you, Jer.
I'm about to break a 94-hour fast. Here's
Oh,
to
man.
108 new stadium parking fund. Cheers, boys. Holy shit. 94 hours.
Beautiful job, Jared. That's awesome. It's tough to do those long
I can't wait to go down to his St. Patrick's Day party, and he looks like Ichabod Crane. All skinny and just scavenging for some corn.
He's just getting lean so the boozing, so he can do more.
MSS doing the math in his head. He's like, that's got to be at least 6 weeks. 94 hours.
Yeah. That's all his life.
Everyone drink for making me appear dumber than I actually am.
Our guy Spaggy says, salute to beef, chorizo, and my fake Italian friend, MSS.
You're damn
shit.
right. Shane, bless you.
Thanks. Luck of the Irish for you there, buddy.
Beautiful.
I think we got one more. Oh, we got two
nice.
Two more.
Oh, shit.
Southside Bum. He says, cheers,
Johnny.
gents.
Johnny! Bless you.
Cheers, Johnny.
Johnny, we're doing Super Bowl bets at the end of the show. None have longer odds than whatever you bet on your bum pick. Your 400-way parlay.
It's the only way to make money. Scared money don't make money, motherfucker.
And aloha, Mr. Handy says, cheers to Queensy. Happy birthday.
That's nice.
Oh, I like that a little. I like that a little Queensy.
That's an old school hit because people used to accidentally at Queensy instead of at Cornsy.
Really?
And yeah, and it was like some black lady that wanted nothing to do with 108. I'm sure.
I think we could change her. Let's hit her up again tonight on Twitter.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what she's up to.
Let's do that.
Slide into those DMs.
There's one more. Oh, I'm doing
some
it?
work
No,
done,
you
kid.
do it. It's your wife.
Not my wife's into Queensies.
I know. I don't want to be. No, I'm not going to go. Well, maybe I would vouch for your wife. I'd vouch for her. She's into my, anything I may do, I pull a questionable move.
He has no idea what we're talking about.
You're
He has no
totally
clue what we're
misunderstanding.
talking
I'm going to move on. We're going to do a drink. This is from Mow the Lawn.
I know
I'm
what
fairly
we're
on
talking about.
Team No Mountain Backpacker IPAs. Cheers to another Thursday.
Thank you, Molan.
All right. MSS, how you doing tonight?
I got a little something for you, buddy. I learned how to do this before you came on. You asked me to do this.
It's not working for you?
Not working. Hold on.
Oh,
it was, though.
man.
It was working.
Yeah, he had it before the show.
There we go.
Hell yes.
I was trying to make your night a little bit better. I know you were having some computer problems. So I was doing that. And this is another thing that's going to make your night even better. Guess what showed up in the mail today, boys? My fucking sampler, my MIDI keyboard.
Oh, yes.
baby.
What are we going to do? We're making beats, bro. And I already told the kids, I was like, listen, I know you're off school tomorrow, but Dad's going to be down in the beat laboratory making some beats for the 108 tomorrow. So don't you be coming down here unless you're bringing in some drugs or some booze. Okay. So I'm pretty excited.
So let's talk after the show because I have an idea for you.
Okay.
I have an idea, and we can work on it together. But yeah, it's
okay.
It's a really good idea.
Oh, now he wants to steal your thunder, MSI.
No.
You to do your own beats. He said, "I'll supervise your beats." He doesn't.
No.
trust you right now.
I need his help to do something.
Sure.
We're gonna get there. I have a nice idea for a new intro too, and it's like we're gonna talk about it, but I want to put it together. And I also have another idea, something. And I just need more time, man. I need more time. I don't got a lot of time, because I need to relax sometimes. Just need to relax.
Yeah,
But
chill.
anyway, I don't really have a lot to talk about tonight, and I'm sure I'm going to talk way too much at the end of the show. So I'm just going to like pass it on to you guys, because it's mostly the end of the show is all me. And Slim Mick's going to hate it. He's going to start tweeting at us at 5:45 in the morning, telling us, "Oh my God, I can't believe that I have to listen to this again." So go right ahead.
Beef, how you doing tonight? I like that MSS had nothing to say. It took him 2 minutes to tell us that he had nothing to say. That's quick fucking guy. Wouldn't shut up about not having anything to say.
And this motherfucker, hey, you know what? Why don't you just worry about yourself? Josh Nelson from Sox Machine is up in the comments.
He comes to yell at you in here to do stuff.
He's like, hey, just so you know, I need a Milwaukee tailgate logo right now. Okay, well, you know what? Just like you improved your position in your blog, we're going to improve ours with the stuff I got to do.
This is what the fans want, Treasy. They want 4 minutes of Smash or Pass.
You got
intro.
it, baby. You got
it. Make the Smash or Pass intro 4 minutes. All right?
Smash or
Beef, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I just a couple things. I got a couple celebrity things. First off, you, Treasy especially, but a lot of you in the fucking comments, not MSS, owe me a goddamn apology because look, a queen out there that I've been telling you is hot, Brittany Mahomes. Now she's the SI swimsuit cover girl.
Yep.
And I got a lot of shit for that. And look, she looks good, man. Look how goddamn good she
Beef,
looks.
how many pictures have you seen of her from this shoot? You've seen a couple.
Like five or six, something like that. Yeah.
How many of them is she smiling in?
0.
I don't think any of them, but there's a level of she's trying to look seductive in it. You know?
Well, there's also a fatal flaw.
What,
There's also
gums?
a fatal flaw.
You leave those gums alone, okay? Those gums, that's a good girl, right? Those gums represent a ride or die, okay? We all know that, okay?
They represent a great quarterback, but that quarterback's John Elway.
Fuck you guys. I can't believe he's not even giving me my roses.
Dude.
I told you guys what was going to happen.
Was it Martha
she's beautiful,
Stewart
and there
last
she goes.
year's?
Yeah, Martha Stewart's hot too. What do you want? Tracy, what's your point? You make my point right here. God damn it. What the fuck, you know?
Here's what I'm going to say. Brittany Mahomes.
Let's put her back up there.
Good body, right? Like, I mean, shockingly good body. She's an athlete. I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the boobs are bolt-ons. I think those are fake.
Yeah, I think they're fake.
They look pretty fake, which is no problem. No problem with that.
Hey, is what
but
it is,
also,
right?
I mean, like literally, the face isn't even that bad, and like all together, I mean, Butterface, fine, yeah, I'm in. Like this.
You know what? Okay, I hear all the Butterface things.
Yeah,
right? 100%. 100%. Everyone who says she's a Butterface, she is in the top 10-15% face-wise of any of the people who've ever said that they've ever dated. Okay, that's where I'm going with that because everyone goes Butterface and then you know what? And then let's see your fucking list. All right, let's see who you've been out with late at night. All right, I'm sick of this bullshit. So that's number one. Wait, no more comments on this. I won this argument. Fuck you guys. Now number two, we.
Saying Mahomes outkicked his coverage? Is that what you're telling me?
No.
I do have a question here.
Absolutely not. He didn't. What's your question? Go ahead. You got something?
No, I just asked it.
No, he did not kick his coverage. I mean, she's worth $400 million or whatever he makes. That's fine. We had another celebrity though, had a little bit of an issue out there, and I'll put him up there. I don't really listen to his music, but Drake had a picture that was leaked. And I'm going to cover it up because I don't want to embarrass. Here's the thing. I don't want to get the BWC versus him because Drake, he's got a wand, man. I saw the actual picture, of course, because Alex Rude sent it to me. Who else would send you the picture of Drake with his dick actually out? It's Alex Rude, of course. I couldn't wait to share this with everybody. And he shared
now,
with everyone.
Check it out.
MSS, now we know who's really friends with Alex. I didn't get that picture.
Yeah. I'm thankfully. I mean, we're obviously the better friends because he didn't send us dick pics of Drake.
No, he knows I want that. No.
I think
He
Beef's
doesn't want to see that shit.
I think Beef's got the closer friendship. That's what we're hearing.
Yeah, that's correct.
I wanted to make it.
You wanted that. Don't lie.
I don't want people
absolutely.
sending me dick pics.
So have you guys seen his actual penis in this picture or no?
No, I've not seen this.
Pretty good dick. He's got a pretty good sized dick. I don't know how tall he is. I feel like I'm a lot taller than him, and his dick is bigger than mine for sure. Like I was looking at the picture, it's bigger than mine. But my question for you guys though is like, you don't get like
he's overexposed.
Exactly. You don't get you get a lot of leaks where it's the woman and pictures of her, but you don't get a lot of leaks where it's the guy and he's just like stroking meat out there. My question for you guys, and I'll give you two choices:
dude.
dead or alive. One dead, one alive. Whose celebrity meat would you like to see? Trees, you go first.
Jimi Hendrix.
Okay, for sure.
So you're like, why did you say that so quickly? So you got to remember that in the 70s, the plaster casters were around, and they would do the plaster casts of the like famous musicians' dongs, right?
Yeah.
And the quote from, I think it was from Cynthia Plastercaster, was like that his dick was as long as the neck on his guitar. And it's like, I'm sure that's an exaggeration, but let's see where it lands. I mean, like, let's see what we got going there.
How about you, Emmett? That's where you at it with this.
First off, if I got to pick one guy, I think it's Milton Berle. Right? Isn't that the guy?
We'll show you just enough to win.
Great call.
We'll show you just enough to win.
Meme?
It's just too old Hollywood. I need to find out. But I'm looking at the Drake dick pic, dude. That could be totally fake. Like I could Photoshop that.
It might be fake. Yeah, no, I leave the doubt that it is potentially fake. But I'll just pretend it's real for now because
someone photoshopped Shaq's dick onto him.
I mean,
I don't know if Shaq's dick would be that tint. I don't know for sure, but I'm just guessing. I think the tint is right. Whoever photoshopped it was very smart about how they photoshopped it, Treasy.
That's a huge dick. I'll
he got a big dick, right?
Yeah, if that's legit, he got a big old dick. Just so you know.
Yeah, he really does.
Dropping beats, huge dick. I guess I'm gonna make good beats. Here we go.
Now, is there anyone that's alive, Treasy, that you would want to see? Like any current person,
Well, I saw this when the Drake stuff came out. They
He's dead too.
McMagical.
Someone, I think it was I don't know if it was Draymond Green's real account or if it was someone impersonating him or what, but they were like, you got to see LeBron's. You got to see LeBron's apparently. And so, I mean, like, I just saw that nasty ass picture of LeBron's foot, so I might as well see this.
There's some really good ones in the comments.
The Wanya Uribe one is a definite.
Wanya Uribe's good. Our former announcer is also pretty funny. I like that one. I'm not reading SPF because I don't think so. I think that's already been seen by a few people. Oh God, who else?
I'll put it up there on the screen. Where the hell is that comment? How about that? God damn you! Good choice, MSS. Trees, a good choice. My choices personally. I saw him in the comments already. The dead guys that I was interested in. First, I thought, well, Chamberlain, right? Because he had slept with 20,000 women. I thought, okay, that's a very accomplished penis. We might want to bronze that fucking thing because it's been a lot of mileage. But then
I wonder if it looks worn down like an old Fender guitar.
Yeah, exactly. It's been whittled away. That's
like Stevie Ray Vaughan's, where it's like where the paint's coming off of it.
Yeah, exactly right.
Stickers on it.
But then I was realizing, like, this is really my choice, Andre the Giant, because there was like mystics around Andre the Giant having like a humongous penis, and he did everything else huge. So you kind of like assume, like, oh man, the guy probably had a huge crank,
Oh, I mean, see, that's the thing. I think you're going to, like, obviously he's going to have a big dick, right? So you, like, NBA players, to me, out. They're going to have big dicks. That's just the way it is. Now, one person that I would, like, that's alive that I guess I would go for is because he talks about it so damn much is Howard Stern. Because he always is like, oh, I got such a small dick.
Oh, he's got a tiny dick. Small dick. Yeah.
Like, and I don't believe him. I don't believe him for, like, a millisecond. Like, the guy's probably got a huge schwanz and he doesn't even, like, he's just like, what the fuck up? Like,
we have to drink to that, actually.
We got to drink to this. It's Drake LaRoche hung? Who knows?
We don't know.
A true leader and packing heat. Yep, that's our guy.
But hey, maybe that's why, like, everyone wanted him to lead.
He's married.
Yeah, maybe. He's got a peg leg, man.
Meat man, Drake
He's
LaRoche.
the tripod,
right?
What the hell?
What a fucking guy.
I think you're barking up the right tree, though, MSS, with regards to level of famousness. Because my choice to see Hog of someone who's alive is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's the GOAT. And I want to see the Hog. And if the Hog's underwhelming, he's still the GOAT. But it'll at least show like a little bit of he's not as perfect as we get. If he's got a foot long, then it's like, you know what? LeBron, you take your ass somewhere else. Like, this guy, he's the man.
Jackie Treehorn says, cheers to Hog Talk.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Drake was out there doing things.
What about Dennis Rodman, though? I feel like Dennis Rodman it's a wild card of what's going to be, what piercings there are there. And like,
oh, it might be dyed. The pubic mane might be dyed as well.
MSS, even if you saw it before, you don't know that you're seeing the same version of it.
That's true.
There might be a smiley face tattooed on the front.
Could be. I looked into buying a Dennis Rodman t-shirt from like his website. And these didn't have my size, but like he's got some cool shit on his website. So go buy a shirt from Dennis Rodman if you want to. It's pretty good stuff.
Hey, no free ads,
Man.
Oh my God. The comments are on fire. I am loving.
I did not expect that from
you. Why did you read that? Come on now. You only put it up for it's only for the YouTube viewers.
It's only for the YouTube
Come
viewers.
Come watch it on YouTube if you want to see it.
Norm McDonald would have appreciated that. Norm McDonald would have appreciated that one. So let's say take a 5-minute break. Anyone wants to, eat or shave.
How are you doing, Chorizo?
I'm doing good. Other than my computer just failing me today.
Yeah, a little grumpy too. Yeah.
You know what, MSS? I need you to shut the fuck up because it's my turn. All right?
Yes! Yes!
You want to mute me for 5 minutes?
I'm actually doing good.
Chill, Nasty Nate. It's my bitch.
The thing I wanted to talk about, I kind of wanted to talk about this if I would have seen it last week, but I saw it like right after the show. Did you guys see Peter Thiel? He wants to do this enhanced Olympics.
Yes, I did see that. I saw
so it's
that article.
basically,
I heard that.
So I'm like, I see that, and then I'm watching. I just happened to start watching the American Gladiators documentary, right? And so like, just thinking about all the roids and stuff, and see this, and then I thought to myself, this already happened. They already did the all drugs Olympics, and I got a clip for you from it. It's just real quick.
To the big Russian. You hate to see something like this happen, Dennis. He probably doesn't have that much pain right now, but I think tomorrow he's really going to feel that.
And that's like the whole skit.
Yeah, I mean, like there's more to the skit, but yeah, that's the main thing. But yeah, it's but I was like, I'm thinking about it, and like obviously that's not going to happen, but like this is a terrible idea, right? Like I love it. Like I will watch it. I will watch it. But like, someone's gonna die.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because like, I feel like right now, yeah, a lot of the Olympic athletes are on performance enhancing drugs. Like you'd be naive to think that they're not, but they're trying to conceal it. They're using it in cycles that won't get picked up and things like that. If you just tell them like, just do whatever you want, holy shit. You're gonna have like some monsters out there, guys with gigantic heads. Just
hang on. Let me pull this. Let me pull this comment out from Bruin Luke. He says, "Fun fact about the steroids Olympic guy. He's a huge right winger who spent time on Epstein Island." Luke, we know who Peter Thiel is. Okay, just chill out. But Luke brought up a great point to me about this Olympics. He's like, "Yeah, they're not gonna break any world records or anything," and he's right because the people that are true Olympians that are doped out of their fucking minds aren't gonna admit it. You need guys that are off the beaten path, like. That would actually admit this because they've either been kicked out of the sports or they have no real chance. And so it probably isn't going to be as good as you think it might be. Like, Treasy, you're worried about them like being monsters and shit. I think it might just be a big wet fart. It might not be good at all just because the guys aren't as good at athletes.
It depends on the competitions, right?
I guess
like,
that's true, yeah.
Like, because if you do like an endurance race where you don't test for anything, like that's going to be like those times are going to be insane.
We've already seen that. It was the Tour de France, with Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, they're not going to admit. Those guys at the top are not going to admit they're doing drugs. It's going to be someone else. That's what I'm saying. Like,
the best one would be like, how many of you can sleep in a bed and sneeze and not hurt yourself? Like Sammy Sosa back in the day when he was supposed to play in like San Diego one day, and I was at the game, and like they're like he's not here, and they're like, what happened? He's like, well, he pulled something when he sneezed, like when he woke up. That doesn't seem natural. I think he's on the juice, and he was on the juice, and as it turns out.
Wait a minute, that has nothing to do with anything. You could sneeze and pull some shit.
Yeah, but it makes it a lot easier to do that when you're on the drugs.
No, I think the fact that he got gigantic was more the thing.
I still remember I think it was the 88 Olympics, Terry Bohr said that he went and covered it, and he's like, you could see how yellow Ben Johnson's eyes were. It's like the guy's jaundicing out as he's fucking running the world record. It's like, oh, God. That's what I want to see.
He was huge.
I wonder how the sprinter
was gigantic. Everything was gigantic.
But like you gotta have all the good sports for it though. Like you gotta have boxing. You gotta have boxing with guys that are just like jacked out of their minds, right? Like that'll be just insane. And no helmets, right? They're not gonna wear the. I'm sure that if like they're like, hey, it's the all steroids Olympics, you're not wearing the headgear.
What's the game that John Sheriffin calls slam ball?
Slam ball.
Put
slam
that
ball
shit in the drugs Olympics. Yeah, put
highlight.
That shit in there. Yeah, there
highlight needs to
exactly.
be in there.
You know, get lacrosse. Get these guys maiming each other out there in lacrosse. That could be some good
shit.
I think you gotta mix up the games. You can't have the game like if you have the
you don't have the regular. Just you don't have the regular.
The 100 meters like the regular Olympians will whoop these guys' asses and no one will care. Like,
but you need like an ultra marathon. You need like 100 miles marathon.
Yeah, no, that's a good call, Treasy. That's a really good call.
And like, if you do a 100-mile marathon, and you're like, do whatever you want. Like, someone's gonna finish that way too fast, and they'll die. They'll die doing it. But like, it'll be entertaining.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to this now. Now that we have corrected Peter Thiel's way on how this should go, this might actually be good. Might be worth watching.
This might.
I'm just still kind of mad that Luke was like, "Hey, do you guys know who Peter Thiel is?" No,
we
I've been on another planet since eating Martian crab for the past 25 years.
His book 0 to 1 is terrific. Anyone who is into that sort of thing, check that out. It's a very interesting thought process on just things in general. Check it out.
The best thing about Peter Thiel is that because of his early days with PayPal and then with working with Elon Musk, there's that picture of him that they use for everything where Elon Musk has like no hair.
Oh, he's totally bald.
It's totally fucking fantastic. It's like the pass-in picture, but it's real.
Like
It was actually him. Yes.
That's the picture is real too.
Yeah, that's right. Jeff's just trying to hide that shit.
He just got it.
We got one from Senior Socks. He says, "MSS, any Emily Willis updates? Also, happy birthday, quarantine."
I'll look her up during the commercial. I don't know.
That's bullshit.
He is so full of shit.
Full of shit.
He is so full of shit.
You talked about this yesterday in a group chat.
I didn't
fucking liar.
You and Polish were talking about it.
Yeah, Polish said, "Hey, did you hear that this person tried to kill herself?" And I said, "I am unfamiliar with her game." And then I looked it up. So yeah, okay. And I saw a little bit of a video.
Yeah, and
now today he has no idea what Senior Socks is talking about.
I'll
idea.
have to dig into that one. I know nothing about it. You son of a bitch.
I don't remember names.
This is why banter goes 30 minutes because of shit like that. My Sox number. You're fine.
Shut up.
All right, MSS, why don't you pay some bills?
Looking for a great deal on some delicious food for the big game? Look no further than our Super Tray. Each tray contains 5 full orders of your chosen item: large shrimp, wing zings, or frog legs, and 1 bottle of hot sauce. And for just this weekend only, we're offering a 20% discount, just $80 a tray. This offer is only available on February 10th and 11th, either in-store or when ordering directly at chicagoshrimp.com. Unfortunately, this deal is not available through third-party delivery services. So why wait? Order your trays today and get ready for a delicious super game feast. Stop by one of our 4 locations today. Check us out at chicagoshrimp.com to place an order if you are on the go. Lawrence's Fisheries, serving the seafood you crave since 1950.
Wonderful.
Nice jam.
Huh?
Gorgeous.
That is a great deal, too. That is a great deal.
It's terrific.
I plan to get some of that this weekend.
You go to our Twitter right now. We're giving away some super trays for the super game, the big game. So you go retweet the tweet. That's all you got to do. You don't have to do anything special, okay? Retweet the tweet and hopefully live within the Chicago area so we can just get that shit delivered to you. Or you can come pick it up, however you want to do it. They have 4 locations. There's probably one by you somewhere. So, yeah, check that out. Retweet the tweet. It's like 1 in 30 right now. 1 in 30. A chance to win 5 pounds of free shrimp. $80 or $100 value for only $80, but it'll be yours for free. So just go retweet it. Be good to go.
MSS, I love that. It's just retweet because anymore I see things, it's like, you got to retweet it. You got to give us your social security number, give us your credit card, sign up for this, smash the like button here, whatever the fuck,
Beef, calm down, because that's how I run all of our...
I know, I'm just pointing it out.
All right, let's get to some White Sox talk.
Man.
It's a handsome man.
Yes, he is.
All right, so we got to talk because we don't just talk about the White Sox. We're going to talk about some White Sox content, and there's some big moves in the White Sox content world. And the first one we'll talk about is the Sox machine has brought in James Fegan. So congrats to them. Congrats to James Fegan. I think it's a very good match. But I'd like to talk to you guys how you feel about it. Beef, why don't you go first?
It's pretty obvious that out of the pool of people doing blogs and podcasts or whatever, and we'll say everything under White Sox Talk, which has direct access to kind of anything it wants to, that's kind of not fair. But everybody else, the CHGOs of the world, the Sox machines, we'll even throw us in there, whatever. This is the biggest get that you could possibly have basically in our gene pool here. This is like the biggest asset or prospect, if you will. And I think immediately James adds a ton to a website that is still more focused on blog. And even though they have a great podcast, they are very blog specific and blog heavy and writing heavy. And they have community heavy. Like it's one of these things where I always tell Jim Arglis, you have a pirate ship. Their comments section on a blog is 50, 100, 200 comments, right? We get interaction on Twitter, but we get like 3 comments on WordPress. We have nothing is going there really. It's like our comments here on the podcast are vibrant in that, but they have that every single blog. And so I think James adds a lot to that. James being able to be in the locker room is humongous for them because it gives an ear inside of there. And like James's insights are going to be different than the other beat reporters' insights because they always were. He just thinks about things a little bit differently. And he's willing to scratch certain itches that aren't like mainstream. Everyone is going to be talking about this sort of thing. And that's kind of why he's really liked. I saw a lot of people pushing over and saying like, bro, I got out of the Athletic when they let him go and they were letting all those people go too. And I'm getting in with you guys. And the Sox machine is doing good with getting new people coming in there. So to me, like on the one side, it's a very super positive ad and the writing's going to be impacted. MSS and I were talking about this. We're like, it also could have the benefit of these guys pushing each other. Margulis and Fegan, because they're two of the best writers here. And not that it's a competition, but it's always a competition. You always want to do better than the other guy. And especially if you're under the same roof, you want to hold up your end of the bargain. You want to write well. And like I told MSS, and I love Jim Margulis, self-proclaimed my favorite writer out there. But last month or two, he'd been a little bit old man yells at cloud. Now, I think he's coming back because he had a great article today about the renderings and everything. But I wonder if that'll push him more. It's like, hey, I gotta go against this guy. So I'm looking forward to what the website is going to come through with.
I love it. MSS, what do you think?
I mean, James Fegan is a great writer, and he's also, when you throw him into like a Jim in him situation, Jim is always very serious, and it's a very dry humor joke if it's made, right? James is not that way. James one time famously had to come to me to get a quote for his story because there was no one else that he could talk to about making their own stand-ups, fan in there. And I'm sure he hated every second of having to interview and talk to me. Like he did not like it. And that's fine. Like when we met him, he was at he's at Wings and Rings, I feel like, for a Sox Fest after party before we started going to Reggie's. And I remember going up to him and saying, James, you write great blogs. And he does. He writes, he makes love to the words and makes that blog. I'm like, I just fuck those words and throw them into that blog. I go, but you make love. So maybe one of the reasons that he doesn't talk to us is because I told him that could be a potential thing. Usually you guys don't get lumped into my bullshit, but maybe James has done that. I'm excited. I'm excited to see him in there. I think you're 100% right, Loaf, that they're going to challenge each other to try to like outdo each other. One thing I'm not excited about is it's going to be geeky. It's going to be very geeky. Like when they were talking in the announcement, they were like having a geek off, and they named like 3 things in a row that I had no idea they were even talking about. I'm like, yeah, cool, and it's like, cool. Yeah, well, this isn't really, it's not for me all the time, and maybe I'll learn something. They're probably like, you know what, MSS, go Google something. Now, one thing I found very funny in the introduction of James, Jim could not wait to pull a fucking Jerry Reinsdorf in the middle of the announcement and say, hey, listen, guys, if you want Vegan to go on the road and go cover these things, you have to support this. You have to give us money to make this happen. It's not just going to happen, okay? All willy-nilly, all right? So you got to, like, make the support. And so far, the people have shown up and have supported this. Loaf, I know you have the numbers or saw the numbers. They have increased their subscription service, increased the price, increased the subscribers.
Yeah.
Fucking A+ move. And it's beautiful to see people that, like, especially, you know, we're not in a rut, right? But we're always constantly trying to grow. And what are you trying to find something that's going to grow? And getting somebody like Vegan, who is going to require money to have on your team and in your thing, like, it's a risk.
I think he's doing it for the love of the game.
You gotta hope that risk pays off. You know, so far, early returns are very good. We'll see if the car washes and the telethons will get him to Kansas City, you know, for a nice little road trip. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens.
Got a drink here from Nathan. He says, oh, yes, J.R. Vegan. Please scratch my itch.
Cheers, Nathan.
Thank you, Nathan. Hey, Chirizi, what do you think about the move?
I love it. I mean, like, I feel like this was kind of what I know that's what they wanted, but I think a lot of people in the White Sox blogs would be rooting for this to happen as soon as James was let go from the Athletic, because I think the Athletic fancied themselves like this. It still does, like this new type of media that's going to be different than anything. But it was just the newspaper model kind of again, with you know, all the people from the newspapers.
Yeah.
And so seeing James go and work with some guys who built their own thing from the ground up, and this is their blog, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They don't have to answer to anybody. And so seeing a beat reporter get to participate in that world, right? I think it has a lot of opportunity. And I think I'm very excited for it. And I feel like I saw enough of James being funny in the White Sox Business podcast that I'm hoping that they could draw
so
some of this out. And but I don't want it to be disingenuous, right? I want it to fit his personality and everything. So I have an idea. I'm throwing out the Sox Machine. This is a free idea. I want James to come to every podcast with one tweet from White Sox Twitter that he's truly disappointed in. Like that, like, not I'm mad, not this is stupid. Just disappointment. Just pure disappointment. And I mean, like 4 times out of 5, it's going to be Beef Loaf. But
no, hell no.
Hey, you horny freaks ruin everything.
Well, you know, that's a famous tweet. That's fine, but he doesn't interact with me very much, so that's.
But I think that could be a great segment. I would love to see James disappointment of the week. Would be fantastic.
Well, I wanted to play devil's advocate too on this. So obviously, I think everyone is very bullish on this acquisition. But one thing that you know, we're acutely aware of, and I actually had Jim Margulis on the Au Jus over the summer, and we talked about print media and kind of running a business. Now, there's a big difference between being hired by a big media outlet and running your own ship, having your own goddamn pirate ship. And the Sox Machine guys, Jim and Josh, have been doing this for a very long time. I mean, the podcast exists for 10 years. Jim and Josh both spent some time doing like SB Nation stuff and then jump back to doing this kind of entirely by themselves. But SB Nation is almost like doing it by yourself as well. They're kind of like leaving you alone, limited resources and shit. These guys really know how to sell and know how to do what it is to get their audience in the door, keep them, and kind of have them engaged all the time. And some of that is selling, boys. And one thing that I just comes to mind, like you mentioned, Treasy, James Vegan to me has only ever sounded comfortable talking on a microphone on the White Sox Business podcast. And that was with Tom Fornelli, who's a friend of his. They're friends, and they like text each other, kind of hang out sometimes, whatever. It's different when you got to jump into another environment. And you hear him on radio hits and whatever, he's less comfortable in those spots. He's less comfortable when he goes on Ben Lindbergh's podcast or whatever. I've heard him on a lot of places, and it's like you could tell that the flow isn't there. So I'm curious to see how quickly the Sox Machine guys can either get him in the flow or kind of understand. Like, it takes a while to get a 3-man weave going. I'm interested to see how long it takes for that, or how he's utilized, how to utilize James at his best there. We know on the writing side, he's a stud. He's top of the line. But it's doing the other stuff, because a lot of times the other stuff is the shit that helps you sell things. Like, not everyone likes to be a loudmouth on a microphone or making a video on Twitter or putting up some Instagram shit or whatever. But sometimes you got to do that. And if you're basically, like Margulis painted to me in the Aju thing, like, it's got to be a bunch of guys and gals, people pulling together on the same string to make a small company like that work and to make print media work in that way. So I'm interested to see the deployment, how this all works out, and like what his roles are in doing some of these things to promote Sox Machine, because Jim and Josh have been doing it together for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah, well said. And I think it's been a great start. I think we're looking at it right now and going like, this is good. And I think a lot of other times we've seen like kind of partnerships and stuff across blogs and stuff, and you're kind of like, I don't know how this is going to fit together. It's a good idea in theory. I've got to wait months to see like what this actually turns into. This has come out of the gates firing on all cylinders. So I'm excited to see what it was. And the good thing is that people responded in the way I think the Sox Machine would have hoped that they did, by saying like, fuck the Athletic. Here's the money I was going to spend there. Money. And I think that's awesome.
And let's be honest, that's an encouraging response for anybody who makes anything of quality. To see a big company say, we're going to get rid of this guy, and then to see the marketplace say, fuck you, big company. We'll go with the small company because they brought in the guy that I like. I like reading his stuff. Like, that is very encouraging for anyone who makes anything.
Yeah, it's really good.
You hear that, Joliet Slammers? Sign Daniel Polka right now.
That would be entertaining.
I saw something in the comments. Let me see if I can pull this up real quickly. It was our guy, Matty Mitch. He said, who would FromThe108 bring in for a beat writer? Who's on the short list? I don't know that's really our thing. Treasy, I'll let you answer. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so the one thing that's important to remember about bringing on a beat writer is that they have to keep their credentials with the team. And as much as Brooks Boyer seems to like us, he would make sure those credentials were rejected fucking immediately.
Yeah, Matty Mitch. I think for us, we kind of have the group we need. Like, what we could really use is someone behind the scenes who could produce, who could clip things, who could help us with like some of the back end stuff. I don't think we need another loudmouth on this podcast. We got enough dumb stuff to say.
No.
And who will do all of that for the price of on the house.
It's hard
Cachet.
to find
You get to hang out with us. How's that sound?
And your life might get ruined after you start doing it. So it's a very tough sell.
It's happened.
It's been.
We're not bringing the internship program back. I know K-Dog's probably listening. He says bring the internship. We're not doing it. Okay.
Anytime
and
we
Treasy,
recognize a player, they fuck up and they get fucked. Anytime we hire an intern, something just goes awry. So
Teresi will make sure to berate you like Christian Bale talking to the lighting crew.
I actually would enjoy the break. So
hell yes, MSS.
Yeah, but you don't deserve it. So got a drink here from Chuck. Cheers,
Zing.
Chuck.
I love
Thanks,
you, Chuck.
Chucky.
All right, but that's not the only move that we've seen. We've seen this week. We've seen two moves out of our friends over at Sports Mockery. They brought in Chi Sox fan Mike to write some blogs, and they brought in our good friend Missy Carroll as a social media analyst.
Yes, sir.
And when I saw that title, corporate Teresi, thought about like, social media analyst. I've worked with some in the past, but they're usually especially in my line of work, they're more like, here's where you should spend money on social media, right?
Yeah.
I doubt that's what Missy's doing. But Missy, if that is what you're doing, just let's hear us out from the 108 podcast, presented by Pinwheels Ivy.
Great tweet, get a lot of recognition.
Yeah, it'll be beautiful. But I assume this is more of a, how you should be running your social media just in general. So I'm anxious to see how it looks in this fashion. So she said she's running Southside Behavior under them now. I don't know what that means.
I don't. Do they have a TikTok? The Sports Mockery.
So that's what I was wondering. Right? MSS is like it's probably maybe more other platforms than Twitter, because Sports Mockery account has 39,000 followers on Twitter. It's pretty well enhanced or whatever. And so adding on another account to it, I wasn't really understanding fully how that was working. But maybe on the other platforms, it makes a lot more sense.
We know Missy says you don't know my brand. We know your brand.
We know your brand.
I don't know how you run a social media account under a different company. I'm not sure of the pay structure here.
Well, here's how it's going to work. We don't know what's going on, but we'll find out. When it happens, we'll start seeing it. That's
She's going to send us
the key right there.
A bunch of rambling messages, and we're going to love every single one of them.
She's going to yell at us in the DMs in like 5 minutes.
You stupid
but we know. We do know. We do know that Missy's fantastic on social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I'm interested to see
social media.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how this works, how this plays out, how that interacts with things like Pinwheels and Ivy and with Father Zoe, and if she gets to tell K-Fids it's past 10 p.m. stop tweeting, I want to see.
Oh, that'd be huge.
I want to see the reach that she's allowed to have.
Absolutely.
My Sock Summer, what do you think about this?
Okay, so she's saying that she is going to use her account to direct them over Sox fans over to Sports Mockery to try to capture more of the White Sox audience. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. I love, first of all,
but it also said on the talk. So TikTok. So we were right. It was a different, a little more other platforms than it is actually Twitter.
Yeah, Southside behavior. I feel like, I mean, she does some stuff on the Twitters, but that's mostly TikTok stuff. Like those are great videos. That's how I got introduced to her. And she does great content. And that is the thing with Missy. That. Missy's awesome at that. And like I've been a fan of Missy. I was a fan of Missy a year before we even like interacted with her, threw her in the tournament, did all that stuff because I was like, I need to vet her and make sure that she's good. Like this wasn't just like a real quick thing. Like I need to like make sure that everything's good, and she is good. And then looking at like all her old tweets from her personal account were just great. So a fantastic addition. If you can get somebody that knows what they're doing to come onto your team, that's all you got to do. So I'm happy for her, happy for them.
One important thing is that I saw her going through White Sox player TikToks the other day, and she was like, "Oh, I just got to post this one. It's Danny Mendick." And now Danny Mendick is with the team. We'll get to that later. Yeah. But Missy, can you start looking at some of the better free agents out there and posting their TikToks?
Speaking into existence for us.
Let's maybe get a better right-handed right fielder than maybe we got right now. And
also, I'll say it right now. I don't know if you liked Danny Mendick before, Missy, but you can't go with the horny bit with him, okay? Because everyone likes him. Romy was a good one. You got to pick some other obscure guy. You can't use the horny bit again on Danny Mendick.
And we have an in with Danny Mendick. So if you get horned up by Danny Mendick, we probably have an in with him.
You see what he did?
We do not.
Treasy, you see how he did?
I see exactly what he did. I'm fucking disgusted by it.
Yeah.
And let's get to the other pickup over here, which is Shy Sox fan Mike, who has a huge Twitter following. He's starting to write blogs for Sports Mockery. Beef, what are your thoughts on this?
I love this move only mainly for a couple reasons. Obviously, you said he has a big Twitter following. That's true. But like Mike is thinking about the White Sox 24/7, 365. So like there's going to be a lot of thoughts in there. And I got to give it to Zoe and the Sports Mockery team for even reaching out and saying, hey, do you want to come and do this? Should you do this stuff? And I read one of the early, but I didn't read the intro blog because I already know who Mike is. And he did 3 things with us, which we had to pull down off the thing. I don't want to explain that. But I read the second blog that he put out. It was actually pretty decent, well thought out.
It was.
Or whatever. But then he made a cardinal sin. And Mike, I'm going to give you some free advice. You're probably not listening. But someone who knows Mike can relay this to him. You put out a tweet that said, hey, guys, let me know what you want me to write about. No good. Don't do that. You just started writing. The ideas need to come from in your fucking head and go out there. Crowdsourcing content generally is dumb and a bad idea. You have to put things out there that they're not thinking about, because then reader says, oh shit, that's a great idea. I would have never thought about that. this is my guy who I want to read all the time. You can't be crowdsourcing. If you want to write the same bullshit that's out there on Twitter all the time, give me a break. No one wants to read that again. Like, we read it 16 times already. Fuck, who cares?
My biggest pet peeve that's out there is that type of tweet, but it's more specifically I'm gonna write about some trades for this guy or something. Give me your best trade ideas. And it's like, because you're gonna be a dick about this in one way or the other. Either you're gonna steal the best trade ideas,
yep,
or you're gonna find trade ideas and just like admonish the person for their stupid idea.
Right,
so like,
one bad.
it's and just in general, it's like think about it yourself and like write the blog, and then people will put those in the comments anyways.
If you don't find it interesting enough to come up with it on your own, or you can't find that angle, then your blog's not going to be that good either.
I totally agree, MSS. Your blog will suck if you don't have the passion to really write about it. Mow the Lawn says, does anyone want to see Shy Sox fan Mike's ding dong? Probably. I don't know. Not anyone on this show, I don't think, but no. But someone out there probably does want to see it.
I don't like seeing dicks of people I know. Like
it's a little
odd.
familiar, you know. That's why I went celebrities there, you know.
Right.
I mean, if I see it, it's not a big deal. But I'm not looking to see it. You know what I'm saying?
They're people, but they're not my friend. You know,
that's right. You see your friend's dick, and that's fine. But
it's an awkward moment.
If it happens, it happens. But I'm not going to say, you know, who I really want to see. You know, John from accounting. Don't want to see it.
It's hooked real bad. That's why.
He's got the Peronis, and then I'd be like, "Listen, bro, I got a number for you to call because I see it in the bathroom all the time."
I mean, like you definitely don't want to see you definitely don't want to see someone at work wagging it around. That means you've got depositions to go to and shit for the rest of your year.
As long as he washes his hands, it's okay.
Oh man, Baloney's sending me his baloney. I don't like that. Oh boy.
Gosh.
MSS, what do you think about the Shy Sox fan, Mike?
So initially, like when this comes down, I'm like, oh god, because sometimes Mike has some tweets that are just like, fucking and they do well. They do numbers for him. But like, man, there's nobody better than AJ Brzezinski as a catcher. You know, like I'm like, how? I mean, how does this get 14,000 likes? You know, and like, how does this have 85,000 impressions? Like, it's just, okay, yeah, great. You know, we live in a sports town that still celebrates 85 and 05. I get it. But like, this is a tweet, you know, that it does like numbers like this. And like, you put out, somebody will put out some thought provoking stuff, maybe myself, and it gets like 6 likes. So, you know, you're just like, okay, well, I'm a little jealous. But I was like, read his initial blog and I was like, okay. And then like his first one that he actually like got into some shit, I was like, okay, he's got some thoughts, right? And like, that's good. But Mike is going through something right now, and he's like, I need to put myself out there. I need to like try some shit and do some stuff differently, right? He wants a girlfriend. He's writing a Sox blog. He's doing all this stuff.
He had the mustache. He showed the mustache.
Grew the mustache. Put his picture out there for people. Fuck yes, Mike. Continue to do this. Like, fucking this is how you grow. This is how you get out of it, like any shadow that you feel like you're in, and you start becoming the person that you're supposed to become. And like, and this is great. And in White Sox Twitter, he knows all the bad parts of White Sox Twitter. He's been there, right? And he survived, and he's still kicking. So Mike, yes, like please, just continue to write stuff. Don't crowdsource. It's stupid. Steve Jobs never crowdsourced. You know, Steve Jobs like, listen, this is an iPod. Why do I need it? You fucking need it. Okay, so when you're like,
you don't know you need it, but you need
it, you're gonna do it, right? Yeah. And like when people are like, oh, what do we need an iPad for? He's like, just trust me, you're gonna probably fucking dig this. And the guys are like, oh my god, I fucking love this thing. You know, like there's all these things that you're like, I don't need that. I already have a laptop. I have a fucking desktop. I don't need this. No, you need it.
What am I gonna listen to music on my phone?
Who would do that?
I mean, I already have a tape deck, and my friend makes me mixtapes. What do I need shuffle for? You know, like, oh, trust me. But yeah, no. So Mike, continue to go. Put all your shit out there.
Soggle Sox fan in the comments just says, Luke, I just found out DMX has passed. Please respect my privacy this time. R.I.P. I almost want to end the show right now. It's so perfect.
That was pretty good. But yeah, no. So Mike, I mean, you just continue to go out and do your thing. You're writing good stuff. You're surprising, like me, especially. I did not expect this. So like, continue to do it and add your own spin. And you're obviously good at writing, to the beginning. Like it's better than some of the other stuff I've seen. So
it sure
go
is.
forth, continue to go.
Quick question on Shy Sox fan Mike before you go, Treasy. He's how much better than Mitch Kaminsky is going to be at blogging?
Oh, wow.
Because that's he's going to be measured, right? Because Mitch was the last guy who was doing a lot of blogging for the Sox.
Let me throw this out, and it alludes to what MSS was talking about, and a bit to what you were talking about, Beef, is that Mike, like a bad season's not going to affect Mike.
No,
and that's the thing.
He's in. Yeah.
He's and being like anti-fragile to the Sox record or any of that is the most important thing, because even if the Sox get good, I can assure you that they will once again get bad. Like they just don't spend in a way that would sustain success over a long time.
Right.
And so even if they pop up now, like even if Getz does a beautiful rebuild and they come up for 3-4 years and then they start coming back down, by the time the new stadium is there, like they might suck again, right? Or they might still suck.
Yeah.
And like Mike's the kind of guy that could roll right through that shit.
Agreed.
And that's the most important thing when you're trying to do this for an ongoing basis, right? Like,
yeah,
that's a
you
great
could quickly
call, Treasy.
run
That's
it
a
up
great
and
call.
then, but like if you we've seen a lot of people do it for a while, and then like it's taxing to do shit when they suck. When you're in an off season, we just experienced this. When you're like, let's talk about this Eric Fetty thing for at least 45 minutes, because this is the high moment of the off season. Yeah, I mean, like, so I hope that he's like, I hope that they give him the support that he deserves, because I think he's going to be able to ride through all the tidal waves that come with being a Sox fan.
Yeah, that's a terrific call, Treasy. And like MSS said, if his like second blog, which was the first real blog, is any indication, he's off to a good start. He really put a lot of work into it and was thoughtful about it. It's like, that's a lot of work for someone just starting a blog. You have the right idea of what you need to do here, so just keep going, baby.
And Manny Mitch says, stating stupid shit is how Shy Sox Mike got so many followers, right? And he's like, good or bad, any engagement is good engagement. True, kind of. But like after, I don't know what Mike's gain is out of this. For me, I don't want to recap a baseball game that just happened and tell you my thoughts on that. I want to find a different angle of something that I find interesting and maybe like put that out there. Right. So like, yes, I think that one of us could recap a baseball game and probably get some engagement and it could push forward. Right. And like you could do something, but that's not entertaining to us. So like for me to do that would be, I mean, I'm just trying to get some clicks versus, hey, let me think out why having an aluminum cup is better than having a plastic cup. Like that's something to me is more entertaining and like why do people love these cup? Right.
He doesn't want to see your dong, but he wants to know what kind of cup you're wearing.
That's right.
I got a drink here from Daniel Pierce. He says, rough day. NBA deadline reminds both sides of town every year that Jerry is going to blame Levine, Danks, and any player that he pays not to.
Oh my God. Zero fucking moves by the Bulls. How do you have a horrible season like this brewing? And then, you know what? We're just going to ride this one out, see what happens.
I don't want to go Bulls, but that was surprising that they didn't at least trade Andre Drummond, who's the backup center. I love Andre Drummond.
Do we miss this one?
Yeah, we did.
I think we missed this one. From our guy John. He says, cheers, fellas. Just heard thunder in February. Ooh,
oh, yeah.
Thunder down under.
John.
Cheers.
Me too, John.
A lot out there.
John, as my computer continues to fail, I'll start to blame the weather.
Hello.
All right. I want to do a little more Sox talk, guys. Do you mind doing a little
Let's do it.
More White Sox talk? Let's do a little more
White Sox talk.
We talked about this, Beef. You and I talked about this, the trades that happened over the weekend. So we had Gregory Santos traded for Prelander Baroa, awesome name. Zach DeLoach, MSS, not Zach De La Roca.
Right. I looked him up.
I'm sure we both thought it. I'm sure we both thought it when it happened.
Right.
But and then the 69th pick in this year's draft, and then Christian Mena for Fletcher. So Dominic Fletcher.
Oh no.
We went kind of long form on this beef, but I'll sum it up really quick.
Yeah, do it.
Santos, we all enjoyed what Gregory Santos brought last year. He is a guy, however, who has a tremendously high velocity fastball, but doesn't get Ks with it.
Right.
So they're moving him to the Mariners for a guy who has a fastball that does get a lot of Ks. However, he's got a lot of nuclear lelouch to him. This ball could go fucking anywhere.
That's correct.
Think a slightly better Tiago Vera. It's kind of in that vein. And then Deloach has some power. He's definitely a corner outfielder, either right field or left field, but defensively plays well both of those positions. The power seemingly there, but he played in the Pacific Coast League, so we're not sure how that's going to translate to the major leagues. And then the 69th pick is just nice. And then Christian Mena for Dominic Fletcher. Christian Mena on his way to being a starting pitcher in the major leagues. Weak fastball, not a lot of movement on it, gets blasted around. If the Diamondbacks can fix that, they've got a really nice piece there. So a lot of people are upset about that. That's fine. To me, fourth or fifth starter type person, maybe even third starter, not that expensive on the market. You could pick those up. And then Dominic Fletcher is seemingly a good defensive right fielder. He could play a little bit center field too. He could play any outfield position. 5'6", so he's a little guy,
small
little boy.
He's got arms like fucking Popeye.
Yeah,
and
he's like the Southside Bum. He's small, but he got big arms.
But it has not produced home run power as of yet. So
2 home runs.
You're not quite sure what this is going to look like in terms of.
Well, it was Trees. It was okay power for Pacific Coast League. Not nothing, but just okay.
Like 10 homers or something in a short period of time in AAA, if I recall. But it's okay power in Pacific Coast League. I don't know that it's going to translate to the majors. We'll see what Dominic Fletcher is. He is, to me, the most likely option for most of the at-bats in right field to start the season.
Fletcher?
He will platoon. He mashes righties. He's okay against lefties, but there's likely going to be a platoon situation there. We'll get to that in a little bit. But MSS, we did not have you on that show.
No.
So we want to have just a little bit of your thoughts on, one, moving some of these guys that Santos was a contributor already in the major leagues, and Christian Mena, who's someone who they think would be a contributor in the near future for this, group of prospects. What do you think about the trades themselves?
So shockingly, I watched it, and I also have thoughts about it, and I think that Loaf is right on when he's like, this is what happens. You have to trade somebody with a little bit of talent to get some things back that might actually be good, and you have a lot of they're like little lottery tickets, right? And you're hoping that these pay off. And Chris Getz, with his staff, has been making some moves to actually bolster defense and also just try to figure out hey, let's just try to do these things that we're doing. And none of these things are sexy. These moves are not sexy, but there's a chance that it could happen. And it's that's kind of how you got to do it. You're at the bar, right? You're not going to fuck the hottest chick that's at the bar, right? But you want to put your name in with at least 3 different chicks, right? And just see what happens. What's going to happen? Let me see what happens here. So-and-so, like Brittany Mahomes. Oh, great body. Little gummy for me, or whatever. Face not so great. Okay. And then you got got goofy lazy eye girl over there. But you know what? She's really making me feel a type of way. Maybe she plays good corner outfield. Who knows? So you're these guys are they're right there. Now I'm looking at all these guys on my baseball reference, and we're positive WAR. So that's a good thing. Except for Zach De La Loach, who I want to call it Zach De La Roca, so bad.
It's just Zach De Loach, it's not De La Loach.
Zach, I still want to say De La Loach. I still want to say it. I'm going to say it. You can't tell me what to do. But yeah, no. So it's listen, everyone's tired of what we've done. We've always gone cheap in situations and got something. And we're like, this guy sucks. He's old. He's worthless and whatever. Now we got young guys and coming in and we don't really know anything about them. Usually that plays well to Sox fans. It's playing well to us. We're not really exactly sure how this is going to work out. So I just like it. I don't know. I like it. What am I going to say? I like the way that Getz has been running things, bringing these people in and trying different shit. Like I was tired of the way that it had been done. And so I have to embrace the way that it is being done. Like now, so it's a change.
So something I'm curious about with this is so you bring in
Richard.
Fletcher looks like he's going to be the right fielder.
Yeah,
it might not be right. It could be Deloach. It could be Oscar Colas. Right.
It could be one of the piles. Could be someone in the pile.
All those guys are left-handed. All the guys we're talking about left-handed.
They are.
They did bring in a right-handed outfielder, which is Kevin Pillar. So he's a veteran. Yep. He's like 35, 36 years old. He's had a pretty good career. And the guy could still hit left-handed pitching. It's a skill worth having on your team. I think that he will make the team. If the team is the guys that they have right now, I think he makes the team. I wrote a blog about this, and I want to throw this at you guys because it's more of a concept than anything. I wrote about Pillar, and the important thing about Pillar to me is he should never face a right-handed pitcher unless he's in as a defensive replacement at the end of the game. Right? That's like the only way. But Pedro's still the manager. And so my thought is we're seeing moves like this that over the weekend, pick up like Pillar, where you're going to rely on platoons. You're going to rely on, in some cases, defensive replacements. There's a lot of things like this. The bullpen beef, we went in depth on the bullpen. Yep. The bullpen has a lot of weird arms. They added another one today we'll get to in a little bit. But it's all on Pedro to move the chess pieces during the game. And I'm wondering from you guys, like, do you think that this might be the reason that Pedro is still here? Because Getz just wants someone that he and his staff can tell, here's the things we want you to do. Here's the tactics you should be taking. This is the guys on this team. When one of these guys is up in a high leverage situation, this is the pitcher that we want to face them, right? Like, is that the kind of thing do you think they're doing? Or do you think that I'm just overthinking the whole situation?
Treasy, it might be, okay? Because we went through season 1 of Pedro Grifol. And I'll ask you guys, I'll throw this quick question back to you. What do we know Pedro Grifol does well? Exactly. We don't have a goddamn clue of a thing that he does well, right? So
avoids his favorite song by Fleetwood.
That's about it, right? So Tracy, you bring up a great point in that maybe what Pedro Grifol's great skill would be, especially as having spent all the time as the second banana as a bench coach, is take directives from a very baseball-y front office, which the last regime was not. As much as Rick Hahn fashioned himself as some baseball strategist or whatever the fuck, they weren't really. They never, really, they were not. They didn't do that. They didn't pull those levers. I mean, La Russa did a little bit, but when La Russa's in charge, he's in charge. He's telling you to fuck off, and he's not doing that, right? With regards to Grifol, last year he didn't. Last year, Grifol died with Lance Lynn out there a billion times. Yeah. He died with Tim Anderson in the lineup and never really kind of made adjustments there or anything. So, what we're led to believe in 2023 is this guy doesn't really know how to operate this. Treasy, not only do they have the most obvious platoon situation in right field, which I think you highlighted beautifully in the Pillar blog before they even brought these guys in. You were lining up, they're going to put a lefty bat here. We didn't know who it was. And then they made the trades kind of right after you did the Pillar blog because he's a perfect fit as the righty guy. But they're also building up a bullpen that's a very Bannister bullpen, like we mentioned. Shane Drohan's a multi-inning guy, right? Weird. Tukey Toussaint is a multi-inning guy. Jimmy Lambert's probably a multi-inning guy. So they have a lot of that stuff. And then they have the weird specialist guys in there. So you're really going to have to manage that thing so carefully. And so I agree with you. I think it is, either it's a testing ground or it's a, Pedro, this is what I think you can do well. We're going to put you in position and we'll see how you do for a year before we either tell you to get lost or we continue on.
And having Bannister in there too, that seems to have his wits about him, can help out, and make those calls too, and be like reminding him, because that's.
But he's not going to be in the dugout.
He won't be. But MSS is right. He'll be putting the game plan for you. Like, hey,
right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
here's the series. Plan. Here's these guys. Here's who they match up with. You better make sure you plug the right guys in there.
Yeah, and this is what you do when these, they got those little those things that the guys have in their head. Right?
Exactly.
Give one
Pedro needs one.
Pedro's gonna have one, and he's just gonna go like this. Like they're like, oh,
Manny Mitch is right here, though. He
Sure.
says though there's good managers in baseball that do what their front office tells them too. Not exclusive to only bad Pedro types out there.
True.
Correct. And we are assuming Pedro's a bad type only because we just watched the worst season ever, and he's a really poor communicator. But he might not be terrible. Like, we don't know. And I think we're going to find out a little more information this year. So that's a great comment, Manny Mitch. Appreciate that. Sorry, MSS.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Yeah, I think I got out what I needed to say. I think that he's come in. We don't really know. Like, this is more of a testing ground for him, because it seems like he's on board with a lot of the stuff that's happening, and a lot of people getting hired. So now this is going to be, okay, we'll see how this goes, right? Like, if they come out and surprise people to a certain extent, then you got to give them a little bit of the benefit, because there ain't no way you're using one of these players and saying, well, they're outperforming what Pedro is doing for them. They're like, because that was the excuse with the Russa, right? Like, oh, they're playing in spite of his bad managing skills. So like, you can't say that about the people they're bringing in. You can't say they're outperforming their manager out there. So
MSS, I like your idea of like almost like the card that the NFL players wear on the quarterback wears on his arm but I'm now imagining Pedro in the dugout with one of the helmets on, like football helmet on, like the quarterbacks have with the speaker inside. Like
Bannister's yelling him, get him the fuck out of there.
I've had enough of this fucking asshole.
Maybe you should go with somebody different right now.
I want this to happen. Now this has to happen.
Left hand.
Let me go the opposite direction of things going well, right? But like, imagine a scenario where we watch the Sox go against two lefties in a row. Kevin Pillar has two great games in a row.
Yeah.
And then the third game, he's starting against a really good right-hander, and everyone's like, what the fuck is this guy doing in the lineup? And Pedro's like, I'm just staying with the hot hand. Like that.
That'll be upsetting.
That's a funny idea. Like, it's like, oh, Chirizi told the joke, but you all know you can see that shit happening. It's infuriating.
He said his legs were tired, so
so I'm just using my guy. Yeah, that's right. That's totally the excuse. That's 100%. We're gonna hear that shit. 100%.
He said he could do it. He felt fine, so I just threw him out there.
Beef, we did get some non-roster invitees. If you wanna bring that up, and
I would
let's
love to.
talk
Here we
about
go.
this a little bit.
Beautiful.
Now, a lot of dudes in here, but there's a few that are probably interesting to us. We already just talked about Kevin Pillar.
Yep.
He's not in this list, but he is going to be there. Beef, I want to talk about one guy in the bullpen, Jesse Chavez. Jesse Chavez is now he signed a minor league deal with the Sox too. Interesting pitcher. He's 40. He's like 40 and a half, I guess. He's going to turn. I think he turns 41 during the season. Yeah. But he's one of these guys that has stuck around for a long time. He had a good season last year.
Yep.
He's still throwing the same pitches. He's just doing his thing. He throws a cutter. That's probably like the pitch he throws the most. Clocks in around 89 miles per hour, but has like a 31% whiff rate. Like that's a really good whiff rate for throwing 89 miles per hour. And it's not like he's like, oh, but don't worry, he has a 95 mile per hour. No. This is he's topping out over here. So
yeah, absolutely.
So I like this pickup. I mean, let me just tell you that if he plays well, it's not hard to see the south side of Chicago embrace a Mexican dude pitching well in relief. So
he looks like the Theo that would give you the beers when you're like 12 at the party. Like at the family party, he'd sneak you the beer and it's like, Don't they wouldn't tell they tell you don't talk to him. They're gonna tell you curse words or something like that. That's who he looks like. I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely.
And
so I'm excited
don't
about
leave your girlfriend with Uncle Jesse. He might be coming around.
That's true.
He's gonna get her some tequila rose.
But this is absolutely another Bannister. Right? Oh, tequila rose. Oh my God.
Jesse knows what he's doing.
That's right.
Everyone's vomited pink once in their life.
Here we go.
Beef, does this fit? Does this fit with what we've been talking about with the Bannister, Island of Misfit Toys?
Oh, absolutely, because he is the only straight cutter guy out there, and he was great last year. I mean, Treasy, we undersold a little bit, about 36 innings, 1.56 ERA. The FIP was still around 3, so he was actually good. 10K per 9, so you're talking about the strikeout rate was enormous. I think the White Sox right now, they're at a point where they've kind of trimmed off a lot of the fat. There's still a little bit of fat in the 40-man, but not as much as there was 6 months ago when it was still Rick Hahn's 40-man. And when you look at the NRIs with the pitchers here, they're probably hoping, you add Jesse Chavez to this group, they're probably hoping a couple of the NRIs, those 11 guys at the top in the graphic there, 1 or 2 makes the roster. Like a Joe Barlow could make the roster and be like a save catcher or whatever. So, I think that they are bringing these people in with intent. And with the minor leaguers also, these spots are available. If you play great, a spot can be yours. And so I think, as much as any team, the White Sox are really, offering, hey, there's roles available. There's roles in the bullpen. There's probably a starting pitcher role, just depending on how everything shakes out. And if Dylan Cease gets traded, there's definitely bench bat spots. And we even talked about, they've been talking to Dominic Smith, and we were like, what do they do with Gavin Sheets? They need a lefty hitter off the bench because they got dead spots at the end of the roster that can be pinch hit for. So there's shit available for anyone who is a major league player coming in here. There's chances.
I keep seeing people added to the roster, and I can't find anyone who actually pushes Gavin Sheets off of this roster yet.
Not yet.
It's still there. I do want to get to this drink real quick from our guy Danny Reyes. He says,
Danny.
"Cheers, guys, enjoying the show as always while watching boxing and basketball on the TV on mute. Cheers."
Appreciate you, Danny.
You ain't got to hear it to watch them beat the shit out of each other.
I love it. Danny's got the whole command center going there. Now,
does.
Danny,
He's got everything going.
imagine those boxers all jacked up on steroids.
If they're not already.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they are. I don't know if they still drug test in that sport.
Right?
But MSS, they did add Danny Mendick. So that's an interesting one there, because one of the things that's interesting about that is they went out, they got Nicky Lopez, they got Paul DeYoung, they got Braden Shoemake. They seemingly have enough guys that they were like, Romy Gonzalez is obviously expendable at this point. And then you bring in a Danny Mendick, and MSS, do you see Danny Mendick making this team? Do you see does it seem like this is almost set up for him to win the spot?
I mean, okay, he knows the lay of the land. He's been here. He knows the people that are kind of around the organization, except for the top. You're not bringing him back. He's been here. You're not bringing him back because you don't want him to try to make the team, right? You see something in this guy to bring him back again. You know who he is. Chris Getz definitely knows who he is because he was here this whole tenure, right? So they're setting him up for a big chance, and they're like, hey, maybe he got a bad shake of the stick. The injuries played him wrong. He didn't bring him back in the fold. Number one Danny Mendick fan, White Sox Dave, was very upset when they didn't bring him back in. So, maybe
he was going to bring him on. We had a show, right? White Sox Dave. I'm going to get Danny Mendick to come on, and then it was the day before he got let go.
Yes,
that did happen.
MSS, so you bring up a great point. You bring up a great point that Getz was here for all of Danny Mendick's tenure, and he saw him rise through the ranks of the team. And there's been this whole thing. About Danny Mendick, about players doing the right things and being professionals and things like that. And you make a great point that they know who he is, and they're bringing him back. So there must be something about him that screams this is the right way to do things.
And I think Matty Mitch just pointed out something that I think I was going to bring up, but I'm glad he brought it up because it really triggered my brain. He says, if anything the Sox are doing, they're making some of these guys actually make the team instead of getting a gift wrap spot. Now, in our short, brief text messages with White Sox Dave today, one of the things that he says he loves about Danny Mendick is that he is a psychopath who will not take no for an answer from a team. So he works his balls off to try to make this team. And so maybe it's like, okay, I love his tenacity. You know, maybe he's not the best, you know, going at bat. You know, he's decent in the field, but like he works his ass off. And sometimes that person deserves to get rewarded, right? And at least an invite, come in, let's try to make this fucking squad. But also, maybe you're showing that young guy, hey, this guy was here. He's a journeyman. He's trying. You got to work at least this fucking hard to get on this team. This is a no joke situation now. You're going against a do or die guy. That'll put some fire in your pants. Yeah, that'll make you want to make the right play, not fucking flubbing shit left and right. You're like, God damn, I just got my ass kicked by Danny Mendick out on the field today.
He's 30 years old and I'm only 24 or whatever. Right? You know? Yeah, absolutely.
To those points, Beef, do you think that this is much like the trading for two left-handed right fielders was a signal to Oscar Colas? Do you think bringing Danny Mendick in when you already have a bunch of middle infielders was a shot to Lenyn Sosa to say, get your shit together?
I actually 100% do, Treasy. I think, and MSS really highlighted the point beautifully, is that you bring in a guy like that, and you bring in a guy like that because he's useful, one. So, like, I don't want to just oversell, oh, he's a real hard hustler, and he's like, I don't want him to look like, you know, fucking Happy Gilmore at the hockey tryout, right? Danny Mendick has skills. He's been successful in the majors for a little bit. Like, he was a 20th round pick or whatever, got to the majors, and like he's a real potential guy in a roster. But there is that there. There is the level of you got to earn it. And it would shock me if Danny Mendick doesn't make the roster. And truth be told, there are like, you know, he's going to play. I think he's going to play on this team because of that. Exactly what you're saying, Treasy. Like, we watched Lenyn Sosa the last year when he got a couple extended runs, and two things stuck out to you. One, his head was not always in the game on defense, and two, it was an approach at the plate of just swing real hard at everything. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if it's 30% strikeouts and 1% walk rate. And none of that shit plays. Like, it's got to be a lot better on both sides of the ball. So I agree with you. I think that one, and I think also, you're right with Colas. Colas not going to play winter ball. Like, Pedro recommended he go play winter ball. I assume he's kind of in the doghouse. Like, I don't think Getz is willing to give up on him, but there was 0% chance. Like, in the winter meetings, Getz was saying he needs more seasoning at AAA. And some of that was a shot at Rick Hahn for bringing him up, maybe what Getz felt too early. And some of the shot at Colas was like, bro, you didn't take care of business. You're going to go here, and we're going to see what happens here. So, like, his seat is hot. And bringing in a guy who could play his spot, even a AAA, makes it especially hot, Treasy. So I love the point.
There's something there. There's something more there than just Pedro's not good or Pedro is like got a chap in his ass for him. Because when you get talked to by one veteran player and your top star, when Luis Robert, Eloy are telling you, and then Elvis Andrews is telling you, fucking settle down and do the fucking shit you're supposed to do. Yep. You know there's something on there. I got downvoted to shit on Reddit for bringing up that exact same question. One guy's like, yeah, he told Colas to stop playing so hard. And I was like, not exactly what he said. And I go, and if you enjoyed his defense last year, then I can't help you. And I got downvoted to shit. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you fucking nerds. And I got back on there and it said, I go, hey, listen, when there's other guys that actually know baseball, not me, saying, you need to slow down and hit the cutoff, man, and do the things like the regular shit to try to win games, are telling him that, then there's something right. And then I started getting upvoted. And I was like, okay, I finally have conquered something here. Because, and it's just, it does bother me. Fucking Reddit. Oh.
Beef, read that one from Danny.
Danny says, Danny Reyes says, Danny, like one of the boys that gets drunk with you and help you change the tire of your hit a pothole so the night can still go on. That's true. He's a glue guy. He's a guy who's going to always help out and do it. Because I remember in 2021 when we had the limited seating, right? And we happened to be we were sitting at like 110, and then we moved over to 104. And there was a couple games where they started Danny Mendick in right field because they didn't have a better option.
Yeah.
Adam Eaton was fucked up. They're like, Danny, just go take off. I'm like, bro, it's a shortstop or second baseman. He said, fuck it. I'll go out there and play right field. It's like, he'll do anything. He'll do whatever the fuck it takes. And the roster does need a guy like that, in my opinion.
Like
and he belongs in White Sox Twitter because he was on the team for 2 fucking minutes, and he's like, I got a merch line.
I respect that.
It's like, you also look like Adam Eaton, so just go replace him. I know you're both similar. Now, the big thing, and we can ask the social media analyst, Missy Carroll, because she's still in the comments, does he bring back Dancing for Dubs? Is that going to happen? Who's his partner? What's he going to pick? There, I just gave you some free shit. You can put that up on the Southside Behavior Twitter or TikTok, that it will now be on Sports Mockery.
Yeah, hashtag skilling. Go ahead.
Drink from Yump. He says, here's a tip for all the people downvoting MSS.
I got downvoted shit.
That's great.
I was like -8 for telling the truth. Fuck you guys. I'm going to double down.
Beef, I've got one question for you to close this out with the non-roster invitees, because there's a lot of interesting players in the bullpen as non-roster invitees. Chavez is obviously going to be one of them.
Yep.
Barlow, Chad Kuhl, Jake Cousins.
Yep.
And then even the other guys that just got invites, like Jordan Leash.
Ty Bush.
Yeah, the kids, right? Yeah.
I look at all of that, and I say to myself, guys like Jimmy Lambert, guys like Tuki Toussaint, should they feel at all safe with their job?
No, not at all. It should be a real competition. And I was actually looking at the roster resource depth chart. Like right now in the bullpen, it actually gives Jesse Chavez a spot in the bullpen. It has him in the eighth inning guy. Yeah. But Lambert's there. Your guy Debbie Garcia, Toussaint. They still have Crochet there, so I guess there's one open spot because he won't likely be there. But yeah, no, those spots are not open, right? They're not really readily available. And Toussaint and Lambert are both out of options. And so, it's a real make it, break it for them guys. Like, they got to perform.
That's why I pointed those two guys out, because it's not like, oh, we'll just send this guy down. Like, Garrett Crochet is going to come out of that list, right? So someone's going to take that Garrett Crochet spot because he's going to go down and work as a starter. But guys like Lambert and Toussaint, like, if there's not a need for that guy, if Shane Drohan has a great spring training, why do you need Tuki Toussaint? Right? Like, there's got to be a situation like this at some point where there's guys that, like, right now you kind of feel like, oh, that guy's just on the roster. I don't think they are. And that's one of the crazy things about having a shitty team is that a guy that, like, you may have seen play for, like, the past 5 years and you're like, oh, I know this guy, or a guy like Toussaint who came up and threw a lot of innings for you last year and played well when he wasn't expected to. That guy just might not be on the team. And I hope I don't want to say I hope that guy gets cut, but I hope it's the case that they would make that kind of move, that they would say, this is the best guy, I'm going to take this guy.
Teresi, I think they will, and here's a little bit of proof. Remember way back when the offseason first started, and Chris Getz was talking about Yohan Moncada might have to move over and play some first base during the season, okay? That was a signal that get your shit together, because there's guys coming up from the minors who could take your spot. And we have to move you somewhere else, or the bench, or whatever. I think with Getz, it's going to be, we're going to play the best guys. They're not going to be dumb and, like, break the roster off or a DFA a guy that they shouldn't, who's too valuable. But they're going to play fast and loose with this a little bit and say, okay, the best guy deserves a spot. And you might see some guys sit down. And you might see it's going to be more baseball-y than it was. We're out of the corporate Rick Hahn era. We're into the baseball era with Chris Getz, is my thought.
Yeah.
All right. MSS, can you pay some bills for me?
You know what? I would love to. Love is in the air, and so is speed. This Valentine's Day, surprise your sweetheart with the gift of a lifetime. A brand new Mazda from Mazda of Orland Park. With our wide selection of high-performance vehicles, you're sure to find the perfect match for your loved one. Imagine driving off into the sunset, hand in hand, with the wind in your hair and the purr of your Mazda's engine in your ears. It's the perfect way to show your sweetheart just how much you care. So why wait? Come visit us at Mazda of Orland Park today and let us help you make this Valentine's Day one to remember. Mazda of Orland Park, home of the Zoom Nation. 8910 West 159th Street, Orland Park. 708-444-3200. Zoom.
I know we said that we were going to do recorded ad reads tonight, but for all of you watching or listening to this, MSS was playing that live on a Casio keyboard. It was very impressive. Very impressive. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my eyes.
My 26 key MIDI keyboard. I was ripping it away while I was singing. It was beautiful. AI generated image, which was like a little struggle today to get a good AI generated image. There was a Jared Leto type person in the front with a hand that looked like a penis. So yeah, it was very interesting.
Edward Penis Hands. Speaking of AI generated images, there were some new renderings of the upcoming Comiskey Park, and I want to talk. I know you guys want to talk about this a little bit, but all I want to say about this is that I saw those images, and I saw the way they spelled Chicago, which had an extra C and A in it, and I thought, this is all AI. This is
100%.
This is not even fucking like no one put any thought into this. They just said, let's do some AI images, and the one that comes closest to showing the skyline in the back, we're gonna go with. And they said, and they did it. And there's fucking as many there's as many decks in the fucking stadium as there are in Coneheads fling the Garthok. Like this is just a bullshit rendering, and everybody is up in arms about it. I don't even think it's real. I don't even think this is fucking close to what they're gonna do.
What's more real, the renderings or a picture of Drake's dick?
Drake's dong is way more real than what we're seeing here.
Way too far to the right for my taste. Way too far to the right. Way too far to the right.
Like if the picture of Drake with his dick in his hand, Grimace was in the background, I would be like, that might be AI. He might just have a Grimace thing, but I think it's AI. I looked at the pictures of the renderings, and I was like, they said, if someone typed in White Sox Park, Skyline, Petco Park.
There you go.
And there's the image. And they're like, just put them out there. Just put them out there. I put out a picture of Kevin Pillar with his hand on backwards making a catch over the fence, and it looks more realistic than the stadium that they gave us.
John Carney says the stadium has a bend in it. So, Peroni's.
Same rendering.
Sure. Yes.
Hey, that's that Peroni's money, though, man. That's going to be...
You're like, hey, you see how we're pointed directly to the right? Yes.
Treasy, let's get to this drink
Nice.
by Bardo,
Yeah.
because
And I
got the
apologize.
Bardo jersey in the background right behind me.
I saw that.
Cheers, Bardo.
That's such an awesome thing to add to the background. I fucking love it.
I gotta nail it up there. I have a duct tape right now, but it was starting to fall. I
Have
gotta
you
nail it in.
Febrezed it? Have you Febrezed it?
It smells great. I'm not Febrezing it. A natural
Okay.
essence. The essence smells great. The man smells good.
You should sniff it live.
Hey, it's not that kind of MSS.
look at it.
I got a
That
full
was-
nose in there, baby.
MSS, that was one of the funnier things about that American Gladiators documentary. That the one lady was like had an OnlyFans.
Yeah,
And she's like, oh yeah, there's nothing people like more than big, strong American Gladiator feet. I was like, holy fuck. The internet.
Oh,
is
yeah.
the internet is such a great place.
I mean, at all the kinds, all the things, everything you want.
That's what commerce is all about.
That's right. I mean, there's a market, right? As long as there's a market, who are we to judge?
I hope Josh Nelson is still listening in case he's trying to figure out ways to get James Fegan on the road.
Fegan's feet.
Let's see them feet, Josh. Beef, what did you think of the renderings?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like,
You want to pull them up?
the renderings that, yeah, go ahead.
Do you have
show
the?
some of those.
I feel like
Yeah, I got
we
it
don't
right
have the
here.
one with the misspelled thing in it.
No, I don't have
Let's
the
show some of
misspelled
those,
thing.
but I give you an overarching thought here. I think when you look at all this stuff and you think about the White Sox moving, an important point is the reason why they're moving, the reason why they want to go to a location like this, the reason why they want to build a ballpark village and have a more modern ballpark is not to convenience the current fans. And so there was a lot of back and forth about that. And I even got into it a little bit. I was like, I'll probably go to less games. That's mostly because I'll be in my 50s and I won't be able to walk to the game. When you can walk to the game, you go to a lot of games. When you can't walk to it, you go to less games. It's pretty obvious there. But I think the approach here is like to grow the fan base. The whole idea is grow the fan base. Now, they don't want to lose you as a fan, but I think they're welcoming attrition to an attempt to grow this fan base and try to put it in a spot where they're going to get more of the young, successful corporate types coming through the door. They kind of want that group to be more active. They see them all. They lost the land battle with the Cubs. They lost it decades ago. And so those people all go to Wrigley, right? Everyone goes to Wrigley. But now they want to say, well, we'll come back. We're going to get closer to downtown. We'll be even closer than Wrigley is. It's a shortstop to us. You come and pop off and have drinks here, and we want to garner that crowd. So it's a battle back to earn like Chicago casual fans in a way that they're willing to lose some long-term fans, So I think that's the approach right now.
Loaf, to kind of piggyback on that, I think you're right. And I feel like the Sox have done their damnedest to lose every season ticket holder they've had. Like they're just not even trying. This year, they have like kind of woken up and said, you know what? We still have to be in this place for 5 to 10 more years. So we better be nice to these people because they'll still come around. But like, I feel like that you're right on, and it's almost too perfect. They're just like, you know what? It's not us. It's you. And most of you guys that still have season tickets are going to go wherever we go. So we're not really worried about you. We need to attract something different, and we're no longer interested in winning back people that we might have lost in the past since like 2005. Right. Yeah. So
yeah, I don't think it's a personal thing, but I agree with you, MSS. They probably see the fans they shed, and they're not looking like, oh shit, how do we get that person back?
Right.
They're like, how do we look at a new market, a different market that really could embrace this just casually? There's gonna always be diehards. There's going to always be fans that are like, oh shit, if we're winning, my ass is in there. They kind of want more of the people that are like, well, I'm going to make this an occasional thing that I hit.
Right.
Because the location, the ballpark's fun and cool. I like the restaurant that's by there or whatever. And it's like, okay, we'll do this a couple Tuesdays a year, and we'll have some happy hours, and we'll go there. And they want a little more of that crowd. They want a little more. They want to copy Wrigley, basically. I called it Wrigley South. And they don't want to exactly be like Wrigley, but what they want is a South Side version of Wrigley. And I think that's kind of like what they're doing. And I agree with you. Like, hey, it might have some costs. There could be some attrition of fans.
And I think, like, and this is where it gets interesting. And this is, like, I feel like the main point from today that we're looking forward to or seeing is that the way this team and the South Side has been marketed by this team directly contrasts everything they're doing going up 2 miles north. You're not looking for a blue collar anymore. You're looking white collar. You're not looking for a person that is interested in just the game and to be a diehard fan. You're looking for somebody that might go to a game because they have really nice empanadas there. Or there's a really cool fucking jazz club, in the vicinity.
Well, they got to prove it, Treasy, with the empanadas. They got to prove it.
It's true. Like there's a good a good jazz club that's around there, or there's a hip place to go after the game. So we're going to go there, which is not the base that they've tried to attract. They've tried to attract a family. You sound
like an 80-year-old man.
I'm just saying that's what they're doing.
Those kids with their jazz.
I'm just saying.
In their hip places.
I'm just saying.
There you go. Get those fireworks going.
Listen,
hell yeah.
And that's fine. Okay. And like people will point you, like you just did it. You pointed to Wrigley, but you know how long it took Wrigley to embrace the lovable loser fucking mentality and actually turn like some type of a profit and have people showing up. It took a long fucking time.
Yeah, also none of that was planned. Let's be honest with ourselves. None of that shit was planned. The neighborhood wasn't that great. And then a bunch of professionals came in and apartments, and next thing you know, it was filled with people in their young 20s. And then they start going to the games, and there you go. Like, you got it.
You know how you know the neighborhood wasn't that great? Because there's a huge fucking music venue in the middle of it. The Metro doesn't exist in current Wrigleyville, okay?
No.
Like, it had to be a shitty neighborhood.
It was a shithole, right?
The G-Man doesn't exist in current Wrigleyville.
Exactly. Perfect call.
They got lucky. In a way, they got lucky, so it's hard to recreate that, right?
It is, but it's also you go up there, and we were up there for the bums party in the winter. It's dead, so it's almost a good little thing to have some corporateness in there to kind of keep the neighborhood afloat, because they can have a loss leader business there, right? So like if you're gonna put a Chipotle right next to Sox Park, I'm not gonna fight you. Okay, I'm gonna be okay with that, but I'm also gonna miss out on like having, you're not going to get fucking Pancho Pistolas right before a game anymore, right? Like that's just not going to be it. You're going to have to settle for the $20 Chipotle burrito because it's cooler and they have more money.
Man, I'll be at 11 City Diner before every game. Man.
There you go.
Oh yes, you will.
Pastrami on rye.
Manny Mitch had two comments. He said, first, guaranteed rate field's a bottom 10 ballpark in MLB. No question mark. And then also he says, I love going to guaranteed rate field, but Detroit, Cleveland, Minnesota, and KC all have cooler ballparks. KC being too far from their downtown sucks, but cool park. You know what? I don't think any of the ballparks are great, to be honest with you. I like the location of Minnesota's ballpark and Detroit's because they're right downtown. But I'm a visitor. Yeah. I don't live there. That's the difference. Like, also, if you're vacationing, it's different than you go to a regular game, you know?
Also, I'll go on record saying I don't like Minnesota's park. It's like Minnesota. It has no flavor to it at all. You could be at a fucking hotel convention center and it would resemble exactly what they've built at Target Field. So I'm out on that field. I know a lot of people like it. It's nice, it's clean, whatever. It's Minnesota. That's to me. It's got their vibe. I get it, but to me, it's not exciting at all.
No, it's not exciting.
Casey's Park is nice, but it's 7,000 degrees in that fucking thing,
and it's so far away. Yeah.
And it's away from everything.
Yeah, it's so far away.
Listen, I know that the parking situation has blown the fuck up, and people are very upset about that.
I got a point about that too,
and that's fine. But and you're gonna take away something. That like a lot of White Sox fans have kind of grown to love, which is the tailgate, and that's okay. You're gonna do that, but don't come in and tell me, oh, everyone's gonna use public transportation now because that's gonna be the only way that's gonna get in there. It's not happening.
I'm back, baby.
You are back, Treasy. Yes.
You're back.
So happy about that.
I'm like people. They're continuously saying over and over, well, it's going to be so much easier to get there with public transportation is the one thing that really grinds my gears. And it's like,
I just want everybody to go there.
You're adding, you're adding two things. You're adding an orange line that's going to be at Roosevelt, which will be it'll be like a 15-minute walk. And then you're adding a water taxi. That's going to be a $10 ride per person. And you got to hope that taxi is there when your train gets in and what the schedule is going to be and all that shit. There's a lot going on there. The other thing that I don't think people are thinking about is, and I think Pinols was throwing it out there, maybe should have put it in the blog, but Pinols was saying, hey, this is like a family thing, trying to decide if you're going to take a train back at 9:30, 10:30, or 11:30 to go to the South Burbs versus just going to your fucking car when you're tired and your kids are tired and driving the fuck home. That's a huge deal, and you're adding a lot of time onto this commute. And listen, you're not 20 forever. You're not 22 forever. You can't bounce back as easily the next morning. So you're cutting off a family, and you're cutting off a potential father, Joliet, some guy from the South Burbs, right? Which might be, I'm not saying it's their plan, right? This probably not their plan to cut those people out, but they're also saying, I think we can do better with somebody else downtown, like a tourist. We're gonna go this, but it's gonna take some time to build that, and you better fucking hope that your team's winning until that happens.
I got something for you on this MSS, but let's get this drink first from Joey P. Says,
Thanks,
salute
Joey.
to you guys and 78 plans.
Oh, thank you, Joey.
So I'll tell you something that I think Minnesota did partially right in what they did with their stadium after I just shit on them for 15 minutes, is they built up for their parking. It's not tailgate parking, but they built up. Now, I think you could do that better. I think you could do that maybe across the street. You find some area, and you build that shit up high enough, and you recreate kind of what Wrigley's got going on with their rooftops. And you put these fucking things high enough, parking goes up. You could fit a ton of cars in there. But to get up to the top level, you got to pay, and you got a whole fucking deck up there that's set up like kind of like Wrigley rooftop, looking into the thing.
Tailgate, all that shit.
Tailgate, you got the whole bit. Yeah.
I'm. You know who I'm worried about? First person I'm worried about, our guy Danny Reyes. Gets too drunk, falls over the edge, dies, trying to like put a little bit of mustard on his brat.
No. We're gonna
Is John Danks running this? No, I mean, it'll be safe.
Who knows?
No. Danny, I'll get my extra ticket and you can be sitting right next to me. How dare you?
Fucking right.
I watched the Sox Machine podcast a little before. Josh is trying to get James and Jim to pitch in to buy some land to run to build a parking garage. Yeah. And
dude,
I think the government needs to check out how well the Patreon support is going. I have money to buy fucking land in Chicago next to a major development. I think somebody needs to be informed.
I turned to Cornsey. I was like, yeah, those lots are pretty cheap. They're like $1 million. You could definitely get
cheap. I think
John Nava in the comments says, "Oh, imagine all the hornies getting freaky in the car during the seventh inning stretch." I can't wait for that. Everyone's gonna have a chance there.
You've got my plan. You've got my plan right here. We got the fucking. Now I even like this even better, man. Make that top level like the drive-in.
John,
we don't even
screens.
We got that screen. Oh baby,
put a horn thing.
2 screens. One's that. One's a horny movie.
John, you already got people on the lawn with their blankets fucking. I mean, and unless it's a weekend,
one can only hope.
There's going to be 6 people out there, and they're going to be watching the 2 people getting down and dirty. So
I tell you what, though,
MSS,
you bring up some great points. And when you look at the renderings and you look at like the miracle they're trying to make with like lifting up Wells Street to match up with Roosevelt, which goes over the top, and like all that shit.
That was another thing. That was
when you look at that, like. That's like the optimistic view of all this. But really what they want is they don't want you to go anywhere. They'd like you to come, stay for a while, and go to all the restaurants and bars and do all this stuff. And it reminded me of something. And I was like, man, this is really what they're fucking shooting for. They want to be like a Vegas casino. When you check in at a hotel resort in Vegas, they put everything there. So they try to get you to never leave, right?
Right.
Bro, I'll tell you what. If they put table games and fucking slot machines in there, Treasy, I'm in. I'll go to all 81 games. My ass will be in there. I'll stay for hours. I'll hang out there.
Look,
if they're trying to do, but that's what their approach looks like to me, is like, get your ass in here and you stay for a long time. You can't find the easy ways out. That's how they're looking at it.
If that's the case, if that's the setup, you know both our asses going to be living on Roosevelt and State.
We'll buy condos over there.
We'll be walking over to 11 City for breakfast every day, and then we'll be going to the games. Like it's not even a thing. Let's get some of these drinks here. We got Baloney. He says, "How dare you unalive the homie Danny Reyes?"
Yeah, that was uncalled for.
I love Dan so much that I would be very upset if he was gone. Like it would hurt me, and Dan is also most likely to die in a weird way.
And I don't want Richard Carsley says, "Can you let MSS talk about those hip jazz clothes again?" I'm certain he was getting to the point.
Bro, I'm trying to be as quick as possible. You son of a bitch. I know you love me. It's great. It's okay.
Incredible.
All right, you guys want anything else on this? Or otherwise, I got some stuff for you.
Yeah, I mean, we have like I feel like we've made the points, and I feel like we kind of I've belabored it on Twitter, 2 weeks ago. So like I was kind of like, why is this coming up again? I already talked about it, and I know that I'm not the one, but I like listening to people come in. If you haven't listened to Sherman Dilla Thomas on The Score from Monday, you should go listen to it. It's very good. He talks about how Bridgeport and the South Side of Chicago getting the short end of the stick yet again in this, and I think he made some interesting points. And shout out to Parkinson Spiegel for having on like some engaging talk that is good. And I think Lawrence Holmes and Bernstein picked up on that today too, brought us up. Thank you for the shout out. We appreciate that. I think the conversation is going to be ongoing for a while. And it like the reasons behind this stuff we're going to start seeing clearer as more and more AI generated images come out. So.
All right, but don't listen to those guys just yet. I've got like last year we did Super Bowl props, and I wanted to run that back again. I wanted to do another one where have you guys bet against each other. But guys, the Super Bowl props are too fucked up this year. So like I can't even do that. So I'm going to give you a few of them just to give you an idea of what's out there. And I'm going offshore. I always go offshore for these because you get the crazier shit offshore. Yeah. But first of all, fuck Bovada. First of all, last year they took
15 years ago.
Well, that happened. But then remember last year they took weeks. They took weeks
to grade
stuff to grade this things. And so this year they didn't even take the time to go like we're going to come up with some bets. They have a section called requested specials. And this is where I'm getting these picks from. And like some of these are pretty fun. I like some of these things. I'm going to give you some of them, but I'm going to tell you some absurd ones too, which I can't fucking believe that even anyone's booking because it's just throw your money away. So the first one though, I like this one. So there's the fix and the non-fix. So the fix is the 49ers to be flagged more than the Chiefs in the game.
Okay.
And that's negative 200. And then the non-fix is the Chiefs to be flagged more than the 49ers. And that's plus 150 right now. So I like this bet. Because it is, like you're taking that idea of like, instead of just saying who's penalized more, you're taking the idea of like the fixes in type of thing that everybody will be talking about if that's the case. But then things fall off the rails a little bit. So there's some like fairly normal stuff, right? Like that like you're like, oh, that's a weird combination. Like so, like they got the Chiefs to win and Fred Warner to record an interception in the game, and that's like plus 2,000. Now here's where I get mad at Bovada. They're also throwing plus 2,000 at this bet. Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced that they are expecting a baby. Same day.
Oh my God. No.
Same odds. Those are the same odds.
No.
Well, they know that's a huge sucker bet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on now.
This whole, like, they've got so many fucking sucker bets in this thing, man. It's just out of this world. It's so...
Is that a layman bet though? I mean, like seriously, is somebody really falling for that bet?
Oh, I'm sure people are putting money on that. Not
someone's
big money,
crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy because that just announced, not even to like get engaged or something.
There's a bunch of those.
A baby after she's flown over from like Tokyo to see the game or something, right? Like I feel like that's what I'm hearing. Like she has a show like over like. International show and is flying back for the Super Bowl. You don't do that shit when you're pregnant. No, I don't think so.
There's other ridiculous shit. Yeah, it's not even high odds on her like on them getting engaged or whatever. But this one I thought was pretty interesting. So the 40 correct score call here. 49ers 21, Chiefs 31. Plus 10,000. Plus 10,000 on the exact score. Chiefs 31, 49ers 21. Same odds. They're calling this Taylor sniffed. It's the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift goes to the White House with the team, endorses Joe Biden, and Joe Biden is seen smelling her hair.
Oh my God.
Same odds as just calling a 31-21 game.
Well, that's the only reason, Treasy, I not to get in the odds maker's head, but like, if Joe Biden and Taylor Swift get in the same room, it's minus 1,000. He's smelling her hair. I mean, we know that. We know that's happening. Like, that's a given that's going to occur. You know, like Joe can't control. He can't control his snaz. It's going in there, and he's going to get a big whiff of that. We all know that. John Nava, our guy, says they conceived the baby on the top deck of the parking lot. That's what we're shooting for right here. That's the kind of White Sox community we need. Treasy is totally right.
Doesn't exist yet, John.
But when it does,
when it does, it might. They probably conceived her on the top of Wings and Rings over here in Bridgeport.
So we've got a few here. We got a few here that are plus 100,000. This, I mean, here's where you want to.
So 10,000 to 1, right?
10,000 to 1.
Yeah.
So you bet.
If Andy Reid eats a cheeseburger on the field is on there, I am betting this. Treasy, get down for me, all right?
Beef, they have like almost no Andy Reid. There's a couple like Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. There's one like where it's like Travis Kelce, Andy Reid retire, and Bill Belichick coaches the Chiefs next year. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to wait a year for that. That's a great.
Yeah, no.
So, these are even more insane. So plus 100,000. This one, I could see someone putting money on this. And they go, okay, 49ers to win. Debo MVP. First scorer George Kittle. Coin toss tails. Gatorade color red. Plus 100,000.
Damn, man.
The same
that's
odds,
a good leg.
Which is the same odds as 49ers to win and Taylor Swift seen kissing George Kittle after the game. Which is the same odds also as Las Vegas is invaded by aliens and the game ends in a tie.
Treasy, what are the odds of seeing this right here? Is Bovada pricing this right now? Because I think we need this priced right now.
They're not, which is crazy.
That's his daughter, right?
But let me tell you something wild here. So plus 100,000. Las Vegas is invaded by aliens and the game ends in a tie.
Yeah. You already bet on it, right? Did you move the odds down?
You would think so, because that's not the longest odds.
Oh, God. What?
And the longest odds are purely football. They're purely football.
Oh, shit,
like these
really?
could happen. There's a plus 500,000. No, I mean like it's almost impossible that this would happen, right? But like it's end of each quarter score, right? Like so it's like 49ers 13, Chiefs 10, Q1, Q2, 49ers 13, Chiefs 17, Q3, 49ers 20, Chiefs 27, fourth 49ers win 33-30. How is that longer? Like, I know that is an impossible bet to hit.
Yeah,
but how the fuck is that longer odds than the aliens?
Because they know something.
Yeah,
it's extra easy.
I like that.
MSS is right. The bookmaker knows what's going on here.
Yeah, they know.
Quincy brings up a good point on the aliens bet. It is a parlay that you have to have the aliens and the tie.
Well, I think she wants to know which one's longer odds, aliens or tie. Like, it's a good question. It's fair.
The tie is not quite that long of odds, and but like I want to know. I want to know if you are a bettor, and you are like, Las Vegas is invaded by aliens and the game ends in a tie. Man, if I hit that bet, think about the money. And then I want you to think about how you collect it.
Exactly.
So
how you get out of there?
Let's just say that happens, right? Does the NFL, we invaded by aliens, let's say we smoke them.
We're all dead.
Stop.
Bro,
Stop.
Bovada's in
I watched an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and you just got to throw water on these motherfuckers and they die, right?
Oh,
we
shit.
already know
Okay.
that. We
All
already
right.
know the fucking thing. There it goes again. We already know the way to kill these aliens, okay? So they invade us. We throw some water on them. Does the NFL end the game in a tie, or do they come back and just postpone it?
Yes. Yes, Manny Mitch says, be so sick if you get the aliens, but no tie.
What if it's like 31 to 20?
What a bad beat that would be. Aliens left. Like,
How many
what's
quarters
the
you gotta
fucking
get in
score?
order
Oh
to
no,
call
the
it
Chiefs are
official?
winning. Fuck.
The aliens get there like, you guys are all fucking dead. But we want to let this play out.
John, I'm pretty sure that
guns in the
Lake
entire
Mead
stand.
still exists. I'm not sure, but I mean, we got some water in Vegas, right? They got Lake Mead. There's a lot of pools.
There's not much left in Lake Mead, all right? There's,
No,
dead,
there
there's
isn't.
dead bodies showing up every day, but there's not a lot of water
Yeah.
left.
Yeah, most of those were from Girls Gone Wild, though, not the Mafia. So we're okay.
But yeah, I mean, like this is what the betting is for all this shit. It's awful. Like there's no Andy Reid shit. There's no Andy Reid wearing a Hawaiian shirt. There's no Andy Reid eating a cheeseburger. There's no Andy
Yeah.
Reid kissing Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
Like it's overall weak, and it's like I need a book to just be creative out there and have some good lines. So like if you guys
True.
know of any of hit me up. I'm happy
'em
to
up.
see him. Happy to see him.
On that draft.
Incredible.
With that, it's time for some thank yous or GFYs. My Sock Summer, I'll start with you.
I mean, I really don't got much. I wanted to tell some people to go fuck themselves this week, but I don't really care. And I was going to say thank you to my daughter who saw my the shirt that I made her. Go check out my Twitter. Put 100 pom-poms on her shirt and loved it and told me I was the best dad ever because I made that for her. So congrats to me. Pat myself on the back a little bit for executing the idea so much that a very testy 5-year-old enjoyed it and loved it.
Beef, who you thinking or GFY?
I am going to thank our great alma mater, De La Salle, Treasy, for having my daughter's incoming class, the class of 2028, in to enjoy a basketball game and take a very early class picture. And it was pretty cool. Like, over 100 kids showed up. They put them out there at halftime on the court. And I was talking to some of the other dads that also went to De La Salle that were hanging out with us. It's like, they didn't do anything like this for us when we were incoming freshmen. But, like, very cool the way they welcomed them in. One note, I watched the varsity basketball game, which, two things. One, I was very excited, like felt in the moment and really enjoyed it. And the crowd was way into the game and the Meteors won by 1 point. But two, Treasy, it felt like a goddamn fever dream that I was ever out there doing that, scoring baskets, being part of like what was going on in the court. Cause these kids are such fucking good athletes. There's no way 30 years in hindsight, I could have possibly been out there doing this shit, but it was awesome to be out there. And I can't wait to be a dad watching these games, hanging out at the court with my daughter, checking out the varsity games. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I need to get back for a couple basketball games over there. I've heard. I haven't been to the new gym for a game, so I heard it's awesome. But
It's fun. The environment's great, and actually the student section's ridiculous. And I heard that it's the football players that are holding it down, and they were hilarious and awesome doing their thing. So I was like, it's good to see the kids backing each other. Beautiful shit at De La Salle. I'll tell you that.
I love it. My thank yous are pretty easy. So as I mentioned, it's Quincy's birthday today, but last night she got us some Blackhawks tickets, and we went up to the game. The Blackhawks are not good, but it was still a very enjoyable time. And I run into, of course, Dougie Fresh when I get in there.
Yes.
And I got to thank him because you can't run into Dougie without him going, "I'm getting you a drink.
I got to buy you 8 drinks."
So
He's the man.
I tried to buy him one. It was just he's the nicest guy. So like he of course got me some drinks. So great time, and it was a lot of fun. That's it for this week. We've eclipsed the 2-hour mark, so we know we did our job well. No, there's a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, which is good. I had a lot of shit on my mind, like Luke, not the guy in the comments, the guy that this guy over here. Let me get him. This guy. But thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.